Vad är det för typ av personer då? Vad är det du är så rädd att jag ska få reda på? Jag vet bara att du inte skulle orka med mig.
It has been tough for 18-year-old Joanna to cope with her everyday life ever since her mother's death. Her father suffered emotionally and still cannot accept the death of his wife, and this really made Joanna feel that no one's there for her anymore. Things became worse as Joanna struggles with her ADHD medication. Financially, her father cannot support her as he still can't work, so Joanna needs to look for ways just to buy her medication.
Okej, men jag behöver den verkligen för att funka liksom i hjärnan. Jag måste verkligen ha den. Jag blir bara helt...
She meets with Matthews, her fellow student who in some ways helping her cope with her illness through making out, as this makes Joanna feel relaxed. She knows it's all lust and no feelings attached, but she has to do it to calm her down every time she feels anxious. Besides making out with Matthews, Joanna finds way to sneak into a swimming venue since this also helps with her illness. Despite of her father's shortcomings, Joanna still tries to understand him, but slowly this really takes a toll on Joanna, especially she can no longer buy her medication. So desperate, she sells condoms to her fellow students so she can buy her medication. While trying to persuade one of the students to buy, she noticed someone's looking at her. She felt awkward but told her it's not drugs, but she is selling condoms. The girl just smiled and said drugs might be less weird though, rather than condoms.
Det var kondomer jag sålde. Så det var inget konstigt. Det var inte så att jag sålde knark eller något.
During class, no one wants to be partners with Joanna, not until that girl appeared again. They are actually classmates on their German class. Audrey introduced herself to Joanna, and this made Joanna a bit awkward since she is not used to be treated well.
Förlåt. Ich heiße Joanna. Und du? Ich heiße Audrey. Schön dich zu treffen, Joanna.
Audrey started to ask questions and Joanna trembles and doesn't know how to answer. She then excuses herself and went to the toilet and took her last medication. She decides to sell a few of their things, but still cannot come up with the money. While walking along the street, she saw Audrey and decides to drop by and say hi. She still feels awkward, but Audrey is so kind to her that she even took time off from her work just to spend a few minutes with Joanna.
Du? Jag tänkte ta en rökpaus. Okej. Vill du följa med?
As they start their conversation, Joanna tells Audrey she has not seen her before, and that's because Audrey is new in town and that she just moved with her mom. While Audrey is on the phone, she noticed Joanna is trembling, and she just hold her hand to make her calm down. Joanna is scared to reveal to Audrey that she has ADHD. That is why she's trembling whenever she feels anxious.
Jag måste ha druckit för mycket kaffe eller någonting.
Although it is evident that there's an attraction between them, Joanna can't seem to handle such emotions as she always fears that she can't control whatever she is feeling and that Audrey might not accept or understand her.
Fint. Vadå? Ja, du har typ som en liten trekant här. Det är fint. Det. Stjärnbild.
Joanna still can't have her medication, so she tries to look for a job, but unfortunately no one is interested. She comes to know that Audrey is actually swimming on the same venue where she sneaks to, as she has no money to pay for the entrance fee. Audrey invites her to join with her friends, but then again this made Joanna feel anxious and she starts trembling. She excuses herself and went for a swim. Audrey looked for her, and that's when she knew Joanna loves to swim. Instead of going back to be with her friends, Audrey opted to be with Joanna, and this made them feel comfortable with each other, especially Joanna, as she now starts to feel someone cares for her. But things becomes uneasy when Audrey knew about Matthews. She suddenly felt jealous in that Joanna has been making out with him. Joanna starts to feel so uncomfortable and her anxiety kicking in. She meets with Matthews again and make out. She knew that there's a fellow student whom Matthews is meeting up the next day and that he will get money from him. Since she is really desperate to buy her medication, she got the details as to where their meet-up place, so she will be the one to get the money. Joanna realized she has to make it up with Audrey, so she decides to drop by her work and was able to convince her to spend the rest of the night roaming around the town.
Så nu lyssnar du på mig, okej? Vi drar härifrån, vi tar på dig. Kom igen, det blir kul.
That very night made the two women finally realize that they both like each other. So Audrey did not waste time in making Joanna feel she is worth to be loved and cared for, and they made love for the first time. Joanna actually wants to borrow money from Matthews, and she did not expect he will send it to her. Joanna again starts to feel so anxious, and fortunately, when she went outside Audrey's apartment, the door was locked and she can't go back inside to talk to Audrey. The next day, Matthews saw Joanna and asked her if she got the money. Joanna promised him she will return the money soon and tells him that whatever they have needs to stop and she won't be seeing him again. Then she talks to Audrey and explains to her what happened and that she is so sorry she wasn't able to just even say goodbye and that she needs to leave.
Du vet, du hade liksom inte gjort något om du typ bara mässade och sa att du skulle dra eller något. Nej, jag vet. Sorry. Det var bara att jag hade ingen ladd. Mobilladd då.
Joanna tried her best to explain, but since she still has no medication, she again trembles and doesn't know what to say. Audrey feeling so upset as she tells Joanna she wants to know her more, but how come she can do that when Joanna keeps making excuses? Joanna just can't reveal to Audrey about her life and that she has ADHD. She tells Audrey she can't put up with her. Audrey just can't understand what Joanna is trying to tell her, and she just felt as if Joanna doesn't really like her, so she just left. Joanna really wanted to have her medication so she can finally explain properly to Audrey what's really happening to her. She was able to get the money from that student whom Matthews is meeting up with, and finally she was able to buy her medication. She finally has the guts to tell Audrey about her parents and that she has ADHD. And it was really a struggle for her the past days without her medication. But despite all of it, she tells Audrey how thankful she is for her and that she likes her very much. And whenever Audrey asks her what kind of person she is, she doesn't really want to answer that question since she doesn't like who she is, for having that illness that made her fear for people to dislike her. At first, Audrey doesn't know what to act or say, so during their class, she sent a text message to Joanna and they both patch up things and that she understands what Joanna is going through. Joanna meets up with Matthews again and promised she will return the money and that she will only meet with him for that reason and nothing more. Audrey hugs Joanna as she tells Audrey about the money she needs to return to Matthews. Audrey helped Joanna find a work and fortunately there's a job vacancy on her workplace. She makes Joanna feel safe and secure and that she can do it during her job interview. Finally, Joanna has Audrey with her who is undeniably in love with her and believes in her capacity despite having ADHD.
Want more queer content? Then please subscribe and hit the notification bell.